That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. They're all good. This one's good. That one was wild. That one was wild and crazy. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Probably because I can't ever see you, the viewer. I'm just looking at a camera. But welcome to what should be the final video of 2023 for What Does That Piece Do? I'm going to take this time to review at a high level and just recap some of the games that I played this year, especially ones I didn't cover on the channel. I mean, it was a really great year for gaming back in person for me again. Being able to really kind of build out a schedule where I'm regularly meeting with people and playing a lot of games in person, not just digitally online, and not just solo games. I did a little bit of that too, but a lot of great in-person gaming this year. So I wanted to just look back on some of those games to share with you what else I've been playing. I mean, yeah, I've done a handful of videos this year. Maybe could have done even more, but hey, I was just doing so much actual gaming, which is great. I actually got to travel a little bit too, which is pretty awesome. So maybe I'll share a few stories about that as well. But yeah, it was a great year for gaming. Like I say, I want to kind of recap some of these games, and I don't have a list that I'm doing, any countdown or anything like that. I don't even log my plays. I'm not that organized. I take pictures of the games when I like them. I mean, that's kind of the indication, I guess, nowadays. It's like, hey, did you enjoy that game? It's like, yeah, I took a picture of it, so I must have had fun. So I'm just kind of going through my photos here and just trying to jog my memory on what I played and what I liked here and just talk about them at a high level. Like I say, I'm not that organized, but I tried to break them into groups of the types of games, like, the history-themed Euros, a bit more of a miscellaneous Euro, other games, and get into some of the history and war games, specifically some of the Pax coin games too, but then the hodgepodge of all these other games that were a lot of new-to-me experiences. Talk about some solo experiences too, and by the end of the video, I'll probably talk about what I'm excited about in 2024. But for now, let's take a look at some of these games that I had fun with this year. Before I forget though, please do like and subscribe because I'm going to continue making awesome videos like this and all my other instructional and history videos too. Okay, so let's start. Let's look at some Euro history themed games. I was introduced to Hansa Teutonica this year. Really cool game. I can see why it stands the test of time. It's one of these classic Euros, not that hard to get into and learn. Once you do, it's got a really neat, juicy, crunchy strategy to it. Played some 3-player and 4-player once. I think 4-player is kind of the preferred mode for me, but still had fun no matter what. It ends up being a bit of a pretty chill game, It's like just kind of doing your thing, moving your stuff around, climbing up the ladders. Not all the ladders, you gotta focus and concentrate there, but I think it's a really great game for that. Got to be a game that was almost starting to be a bit of a default one for me and my crew, and I kind of had to pull us away from that. Yeah, I want to play it again, but there's so many other games, but kind of want to get back to that one real soon. I was also introduced to the Azul for the first time. I'd never played it before, so someone showed it to me in like 5 or 10 minutes at the end of a game night, and it was really fun, cool to play, and I actually, buy my own copy here. So been playing that with friends and family. It's a really easy one to get into. Great tile laying game, no cards, so it was perfect for playing by the pool during a beach vacation, which was really fun and neat. A lot like dominoes in that respect. You don't have to worry about things blowing away, but yeah, I really like that. I'm surprised it took me this long to get into that game. Got into Tigris and Euphrates, however you want to say that. History themed, right? It could be set in anywhere really, but a really neat game where you're really getting in each other's faces a lot. Played a bunch of 3-player. I played 4-player online actually. That was really wild because you really get into each other's faces. I played on the edition. It's got the really nice looking board too, so the map is really beautiful, but a really good crunchy game. I'd like to get back into that one again soon too. And I was lucky enough to bust out my own copy of Lisboa and play it with players that weren't reluctant playing it. I've only been able to drag other people into it to try to get it into something this heavy and crazy because it's such a big, beautiful board. But this year I got to play some 3- and 4-player games with folks that are pretty enthusiastic about it, and I expect that we'll be revisiting that one again soon too. They're coming for me. Okay, funny thing with this game, actually, one of my other regular players, they were really excited that they were going to be going to Lisboa this year. So when they came back, they thought, oh, great, I'm going to get the first player because I'm the one that most recently visit. And, well, it turns out I was going shortly after them because that was my big trip this year. I got to go to Portugal and Lisboa again. So, yeah, I got the first player when I came back. Had a great time playing that. In fact, one game ended with a really, really close one. We got down to the last couple points. The last points that you score on there, and these little royal tiles that you get, the other player is asking, they were 1 point ahead of me, they're asking, all right, well, how much are those worth? I said 2. He's like, I got none, how many you got? I've got 1. So I leapfrogged them by 1 point. It was actually pretty funny because I got to leapfrog on the score track of that long space where there's actually a division where the other city tile are left, so it looks like I beat them by a lot, but it was actually just 1 point. They were very frustrated. I had a great time. Really great game to really get into with people that really want to play it. Played a bunch of The King's Dead too, the new edition of that. Really beautiful looking game, very cool, tight strategy, really tight decisions. 3-player though, we kept on kind of getting locked in that mode of the person making the final move always seems to be the kingmaker making the kingmaker move, because it has got this really kind of tight, like you gotta watch the other player's steps. There's something about it, you kind of get locked into that sometimes. So I think maybe busting out the other cards that add a little bit more complexity or change the game up a bit might be pretty fun. I'd like to try that soon. And then Brian Boru, the High King of Ireland, played that game quite a bit. It got to be one of these default games because it is pretty quick, trick-taking game, but it's pretty juicy. There's a lot going on in it. We get through a game in less than an hour, and we sometimes chug through 2 games back-to-back just at the end of a day of playing. So that one was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed by the group. 3 players good, again 4 players better, and I can't wait to try 5-player for that one. But glad I got my hands on that. Now looking at other sort of miscellaneous Euros, I'll just call them here, or other types of games, finally got into playing Root Live. Pretty cool. I mean, I can see what the hype is about all that. I mean, a little resistant to play, woodland creatures battling it out and duking it out when there's so many other games about like real situations that went down in history. But I also read the Space Biff articles, Foucault in the Woodland, to go with it to kind of get myself hyped for it. And it is a really interesting study in the sort of dynamics of power. So I think it is pretty cool for that. I mean, I'm not going to ask to play it a ton, but I'll gladly play it again. I'm glad to finally get into it. And again, a game that can kind of go pretty quickly, and it's usually got a neat narrative that happens in it. For less battle-y games, though, started to play some splotters like Bus. That's a very simple one of theirs, but I thought it was really cool. Thought it's cute. It's about mass transit, so I'm into it. Really neat abstraction layers there, though, and yeah, I can have quite a bit of fun with that one. Again, pretty entry level for their types of game, but I didn't mind it. And again, it goes nice and quick, and it's always a good time. The Great Zimbabwe, though, I got to play that again. Wild looking board, really interesting, really wrecks your head trying to think of the right moves to make. If you've got people that are really good at math playing that and spatial recognition or whatever, they're probably gonna kick your butts at that. That's usually what ends up happening to me, but pretty cool. Nice looking at all the pieces, and the board is extremely unique, so I gotta give kudos to that one. Got into some train games too. I guess you can call these history games to a certain extent, but they're pretty abstract. Iberian Gauge was kind of a good introduction to that, a cube rail type system. Well, actually, we had the ones with the actual little wooden trains on it, so now it's pretty cute. Nice vibrant board. Yet another game set in Spain for me, so hey, why not? Check it out. It was pretty cool. I didn't mind that one. Kind of started to hype me up or get me in the mood for 1889. So this is my first 18xx game I've ever played. Again, kind of approaching that system reluctantly. I don't know how far I want to get into it, but this one was great, and I would definitely play that again. I'm not sure how many 18xx games I'd explore, but I had a really good time with this one, and they end up being very close games. They're long games. This is supposed to be one of the shorter, simpler ones, and they go pretty long, I find. So, that's a lot of time trading stocks and setting up trains and tracks and things, but pretty cool ultimately. I also got into Obsession. I got a little obsessed with Obsession. I got myself a copy. Really great to see it laid out on the table. Playing, 2 players, pretty good. 3 player was pretty alright too. I thought it would get a bit long at 3 player, but it was a lot of fun. I've got the downstairs upstairs expansion I haven't busted into. It's the one thing in Shrink that I still have. I don't tend to keep things in Shrink too long, but that's one I haven't quite touched yet. I want to still play around with the main one, but I thought it was really great. And then one I've most recently been playing that doesn't kind of fit any other category would be Station Fall. Again, approach this with some reluctance. I mean, space and sci-fi themed games, I've played some of those before. I thought I had my fill. This one is really interesting. Hidden character, controlled in movement. It is extremely wild and bizarre. Great narrative to it overall. It does feel like a sci-fi action film ultimately. It can be extremely frustrating if things do not go your way. Had turns in 3-player games where we took turns being frustrated with the games and the way they played out. It could be really nasty. You can really get in each other's way, and that momentary butt hurt goes away pretty quick though as you get into another game. But it's really interesting. I kind of want to play that again real soon too. So now, looking at my history in war games, a bulk of what I played this year, basically, I'll start by looking at the coin games. I've covered Cuba Libre here on this channel before. It's probably one of my best performing videos ever. Still the instruction on how to play Cuba Libre. Got to play that with my core group that we met over playing, Pax and coins, so played Cuba Libre again. I love that. We always have a great time with that. Really looking forward to these new iterations of it that are coming out in the near future. So this is going to breathe a lot of life into this game, so I can see this coming out for many, many years to come. But even the base game itself, we had a great time. And then we took it to the next level and played my copy of Gandhi. Probably one of my favorite gaming experiences ever. It's a big, long one, and it's really juicy, and there's a lot going on in it, but oh my, the payoff for that is amazing. The last time we played, it ended up tied on one of the, it wasn't even the final campaign propaganda. I think it was tied, 3-way tie, but the Muslim League player came out on top. It was really interesting to see. They had created so many Muslim states beyond what was just originally on the board, so it was all across northern India. It was basically turned into mega Pakistan, which was pretty cool considering the person playing that faction in our game was actually Pakistani. So really neat to see that happen and play out before our eyes. Always have an amazing time with that. Really got to get yourself psyched up for it. That's a good chunk of a day to play it, but oh wow, it is absolutely worth it for me. But something a bit quicker to play, you can play in the evening. Got into People Power, obviously. I did the teaching video on that one. Thank you GMT again for setting me up with that. Really love the plays of that, nice and quick and lean, and the solo plays are great too, so I'm having a lot of fun with People Power. As far as Pax games that we played, I was finally introduced to Pax Porfiriana. I had played it online before on the kind of iffy digital online implementation, which is, I don't know, kind of hard to really learn and understand the game, but playing it in person with others was a bit of a blast. I still have no idea what's going on in that game. I gotta be honest, the victory conditions are kind of opaque to me. I think, I need to try it a few more times. I really had trouble with the cards at first. It looks like cards from a non-matching games, basically. They do not look like they should be together in the same game, but I think I kind of got used to them. They kind of started to feel like kind of Wild West wanted posters by the end of it or something. I don't know. It kind of fit. I mean, they're still kind of ugly in certain respects, but I didn't hate it. I will come back for more. I probably still won't know what I'm doing, but I'll give that one a try again. But still my favorite. I got to play PAX Premiere a couple of different times this year, so really happy to get that one to the table again. It's always a classic. Hope to explore some other PAXs this year. There was one other PAX I played this year I'm not too keen on. Maybe I need to give it another try, but I'm going to reserve judgment on that one. I won't get into it just yet. Now, as far as other history-based war games here that I played, well, played quite a few. Some from my collection, some from others. 1979, Revolution in Iran. I introduced 2 different players to that. I think kind of mixed reception from one and a bit more enthusiastic reception from the other. I think it feels like a game I'm just going to show to people and play it with them once, and who knows if they'll ever ask to play it again, but whatever. It's never leaving my collection. I love it. Dual Powers, 1917. That's a fun one I've got too. It's about the Soviet Revolution. Really kind of simple quick playing, abstract, card-driven game. Both times I showed it to other players, and they both liked it, and I got my clock cleaned both times because maybe I was just being a really good teacher, going easy on them, or maybe I'm really not that good at it. We'll find out. I'm going to keep busting that one out. I will talk about one digital experience I did have online, playing Commands and Colors Ancients. Introduced to that system, and we had a great time. Myself and Dr. Stuart Ellis Gorman played it on the Homo Ludens channel earlier in the year when Fred had to take a bit of a hiatus, so we just popped on and played that. And yeah, obviously I got my butt whooped in that one, but Commands and Colors is pretty cool. I can't wait to revisit some of those again. Land and Freedom, got a lot of mileage out of that one, played it with a few different people. Having a great time with it. Played it solo too. Obviously did the teaching video and whatnot. I played it most recently with someone at a meetup. It was supposed to be a 3-player game. The third player dropped out, unfortunately, the day of. But that's fine, because we could play the bots for the other faction. So we played a 2-player against the bot, against the fascist. Great news is we won. We beat the fascists, but neither of us at the table actually won the game at the end. So the bot beat us. So we got to tell the person that didn't make it that day, hey, guess what? You didn't even have to show up. Yeah, beat us anyway. Anyway, I was going to have fun with that one, and I can't wait to show more people and play it again. And speaking of Land and Freedom, when I spoke with Alex Knight in the only interview I've done on this video channel so far, he mentioned one of the games that kind of inspired him to start getting into game design, which was Tammany Hall, which is about New York and immigrants coming into New York and the different boroughs in the early 1900s, I believe. Played that for the first time. Just played it once, and I do want to play it again. It was really, really interesting. You can kind of reduce it down to like the math and the flow of things if you want to, but there's different nationalities represented, and you kind of get attached to that and that narrative that comes out of it. But it is a really neat, tight playing game. Yeah, I definitely want to revisit that one. Got to play Imperial Struggle. I'd played some of that online before, but I got to play it, real live copy of it. I really enjoyed that. I was playing another players, just learning it for the first time, so I unfortunately made quick work of them. I think I was playing as France. Some mixed feelings about that game. I love the look. I love the play. I love the feel. The topic, obviously it's a touchy topic. It's about imperialism. I think it does it really well. I think it does a good job of showing like a balance between, hey, there's military might here, but there's economic might over here across the entire planet pretty much. Some of the things you're doing in India or in the Caribbean are unsavory, and there's even cards or discs and shits for slave trade and things like that, which is like, ugh, you have to really be in the right headspace to play that. But I think it does show how all those things were connected in this, age of imperialism. And it does look so beautiful, and I think it's a great overall history lesson in showing all the connected pieces of all these different wars and times in history between the British and the French. And hey, features a good chunk of Canada too, and I'd like to see more games a bit more zoomed in on what was happening in Canada at that time. Played a bit of Polis too, so this is again inspired by the Homo Ludens channel. It was a game of the month at one point. I got myself a copy here of the new edition, played the old edition online too, but busted it out a few times and had a lot of fun with that. Really can be tricky. I don't think I'm really great at playing it. I have a lot of fun, but like it can just blow up in your face really quickly. But I think it's a game worth exploring quite a bit more. And another game that we learned about from the Homo Ludens channel, or really, got some incentive to play through Homo Ludens, and the game of the month there was Maria from Histogame. So I was on the Homo Ludens channel last year to learn it a little bit, and I, never got back to it for like a year, and kind of promptly forgot what all goes down. But it was really great to get back into that, and got a crew of 3 that we've really kind of sunk our teeth into it. I hope I'm going to play it one more time before the end of the year. Actually, we've been trading factions, playing a few games of the same faction, then trade around a little bit. I've been having a lot of fun with that one. Really, really fun the way it plays. We've had some pretty goofy moments in that. Like, I had moments where I went in with so much strength on one army and I had all the proper troop cubes in there and everything. And then I just get my butt handed to me though with the card play. If you're not smart about it, if you're not planning ahead, you can really get messed up. And I've returned the favor. I've backed someone all the way off into a valley that it took them like 5 more moves to get out of when they had to retreat. I was retreated at one point from from a battle that actually helped me win the game, because I was able to then overrun a town when I did it. It was, it's pretty chaotic. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to get into that one again. I got to play Votes for Women with a handful of times. Played it solo quite a bit, but I actually introduced 2 different players to it. Again, kind of mixed results. And both times I had to play the opposition. I had to play the bad guy, but I lost both times. And now I've been able to play it on Rally the Troops, and got to play as suffragists, and I lost that time too. And I lost all my solo games. I might not be very good at this game, but I do like it, and I can't wait to introduce more people to it. Really great game. Solo mode's great. 2-player, even better though. Okay, Granada, Last Stand of the Moors. Snagged myself a copy of that because I had tried Sekigahara a while ago. I really like that. Wanted to get back into it. Understood that Granada was based on the Sekigahara system, but there's quite a bit more going on. There's a bit more chrome in Granada, and you end up with what feels like a lot more pieces on the board to start. So you can start just fighting and hammering each other right away, or, well, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should plan and have some strategy, because that's not what I did last game. I just kind of went and fought whenever I could. So I really do enjoy it. There's a lot of other stuff I haven't even explored in that game. Some extra elements, extra cards and things like that. Like, I just need to get the base game down first, but I think I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of that. And so hopefully I can continue to play that one and find other players to get into it. And Wir sind das Volk. I played this online about a year or so ago, but I finally got to sit down with someone who, taught me the game, retaught me the game. It was their copy of it. Maybe they went easy on me, because as East Germany, I did manage to end the game pretty early in the second decade, but love the play of that game. Love the look of it. Love the topic. Kind of goes really well with a TV show I got into this past year. Well, kind of a multi-series show, Deutschland 83, Deutschland 86, and Deutschland 89, about spies during the Cold War, but kind of, from the inside, from East Germany. Cool soundtrack and everything too, but it kind of went hand in hand with Wir sind das Volk. So I think I might have to get my hands on a copy of that, because that is a excellent game. And then finally, the last multiplayer game I played in person that I can highlight here was Equatorial Clash, a very tactical game, very different from what I've played in the past, but a good introduction into those types of games. A lot of just calculating the odds and going in, and do you fight, or do you, shore up resources or whatever. Trying to remember all the elements of it, but there's a bit of a political track to it as well, but it is just a lot of fighting, but pretty cool game, pretty nice tight package too, and great art, of course. So we'll have to thank the person that introduced me to that game. Had a great time with that one. Now, as far as solo experiences, just really quick, some of the games I played solo quite a bit. Land and Freedom, of course. I think I played all the different factions. Really great solo bot in that. I think Alex did a great job designing it in that way, so you can play it solo pretty easily and pretty quickly too. But yeah, still the most fun with multiplayer. Votes for Women, really good solo bot as well, really mean solo bot, the Oppo bot as it were. So really enjoyed playing that one with people, but a great solo experience. I like the People Power solo experience too, really getting used to those charts. I actually really do like those coin games that have those extra bots for them. Gandhi was a great solo experience too. People Power, it's even quicker, so it's really great to play that one. Something about just like getting the flow of understanding what's going on, and just figuring out the bots is kind of part of the play for me. I didn't mind that at all. I know some people struggle with it, but I prefer it to the flow charts and some of the other games, so the bots are great for that. Comancheria, obviously I spent a lot of time on that. I spent a lot of video time on that. There's been at least 2 videos I've done now based on Comancheria. That really took hold of me this year. I did spend a lot of time playing that and grokking that and understanding it. Got some qualms with maybe some of the way the rigidity of the gameplay is, but overall it's like, that's gotta be one of my favorite solo games now, I think, like designed for pure solo. So can't say enough good things about that. Probably isn't the last you heard from me on that game either. Got to play Time of Crisis as well. I forgot to mention that. I've actually played Time of Crisis with others finally in person, and I actually bought someone's copy off them when they realized they don't like it that much. So anyway, I got a really nice copy, and I tried it solo too. That one's really interesting. Got my butt handed to me on that one, but again, figuring out how that solo system works is kind of part of the game. I found myself looking at the other non-players and going, "Oh, look at you building up your military. Good for you. Good for you. I'm really proud of what you're able to." Oh, and then they come and kick my butt. But anyway, it's a really neat system. I want to try that one again soon solo, but definitely want to play that with other folks. And then last but not least, the game I've actually been digging into a bit is Halls of Hegra here. They sent me a copy of it, and it's really new to me, like the whole kind of tower siege defense type of game. I kind of know about them a little bit, but this one's really interesting. I mean, it's pretty tactical. It's very zoomed in on a very specific battle, so there's that element. Usually not up my alley, but well, it's beautiful, so it's really easy to get into and play. But quite the interesting game. I need to cover that in an upcoming video soon. Maybe are these pieces for you? We'll talk about that. But I think looking at the artwork is going to be really nice as well. So, what am I looking forward to in 2024? Well, of those that I mentioned that I want to play again, that I played in 2023, got to play Hansa Teutonica again soon, I'm sure, and Tigris and Euphrates, Wir sind das Volk, definitely. I can see myself playing a lot of that in the future. More Granada, Last Stand on the Moors, Tammany Hall, too. Like I said, really want to visit. I played it early in the year. I think it's time to revisit that one. And only one play of Imperial Struggle, but I gotta play that one again sometime soon. There's others that I'm looking forward to playing with people that we've talked about. We mentioned that we want to play and get into. So like one of the first ones to probably be doing in the new year is Fire in the Lake with my coin crew. We haven't played that yet. I think some of the others maybe soloed it a little bit, so it'll be a very new experience. But hey, we're all coin fans now, so we look forward to getting into that. I know someone's got a copy of Crescent Moon. I'm really hoping to try that one out in the near future. I've heard lovely things about it. Here it's best at 5 player, but hey, even if we could just get 4, sounds like we all have an interesting time for sure. I actually have a copy of Nicaea I just got off someone, so really looking for the opportunity to bust that one out. I'm the one that keeps going on about it because I remember the Nicene Creed growing up, so looking forward to sinking my teeth into that one. I think I'm going to be the one that has to teach it, though, but I understand it's not that hard. I know someone's got a copy of Shogun, so that's been on in the back of my mind for a little while, and every time I see it on the shelf, I'm like, oh yeah, we got to play that, so hopefully that one will come out to the table soon. Someone has offered to introduce me to Paths of Glory, so I'm looking forward to that. World War I game. I haven't really played many World War I games, so I think that will be a pretty interesting experience. So looking forward to it. And then finally, a game of mine that I want to get out, and I've only played it once with another player. I want to get it again sometime soon, is Knights of Fire, about the uprising in Budapest 1956. I've played that solo a little bit, but the 1v1 experience is really interesting. It's a very asymmetrical game. I hope to be talking about that more on the channel in the future, but it's something that I think needs to get a bit more attention because it is quite a different game. It's a really harsh game on a certain level. You're talking about civilians battling an army, so you got to be in the right headspace for that one, for sure, but I definitely worth visiting and exploring more. And also, I do need to really sink my teeth into my copy of Pericles. Thank you, GMT. I asked for it. They sent it on over to me. I want to cover that one. I've started with one of the scenarios, and I need to let it breathe for a bit before I come back to it. That is a big, heavy one. I'm going to try some solo, but I also want to try it with the 4 players as it's meant to be. So look for some upcoming videos on that one. I really got to get going on that, though. As far as upcoming releases that I should see in 2024, well, there's a few things I backed this year. I mean, I backed some things a couple years ago, then took a break from doing that. Just want to let's play what's out there and what other people have, but I kind of got drawn into a couple of the games this year that I really look forward to coming out, hopefully in 2024. That includes Burn the Fort, the Indigenous Resistance game. Looking forward to that one. Crisis 1914, about the lead up to World War I, and can you avoid World War I? Maurice Suckling game. Looking forward to that one. Battle of Versailles, the fashion battle. That one should be very cool. I heard a lot of hype about that. Got a copy of that coming. And Molly House is coming on Hollandspiele, so really excited about that one as well. And as well, a couple from GMT that should be coming down the pike pretty soon. Vijayanagara. That one's awesome. I've play tested that a whole bunch, and I can't wait for it to finally see the light of day. Also, Tanto Manta, about the rise of Isabel and Ferdinand in Spain. It's a topic I kind of keep coming back to. I haven't played Here I Stand or haven't played Virgin Queen, but this is supposed to be a 4-player version in that system. I'd like to try and get my hands on that one, and I want to see. I think I can get 4 people to the table for that heavy of a topic, but I'm going to shoot for that. And then I'm not sure if we'll see it this year, but Cross Bronx Expressway from GMT. That one is going to be extremely unique. I've play tested that a bit too. Again, I've kind of taken a step away from it because I really do want to see what the final version is going to look like ultimately. But yeah, lots to look forward to. Lots going on this past year. Lots coming up in the new year and beyond. So, including some videos on some of the games that I talked about. So, obviously, I'll be doing some more art critique videos, some Are These Pieces For You, some teaching tutorial videos, and getting back into history videos too. Actually might have some other voices on the channel too in the near future. Someone offered to come along and help show me a game, and maybe we can video that experience and see what that looks like and see what my interpretation is of learning a game for the first time. It's actually one of the games I already mentioned, so hopefully I can hook that up. Stick around for that, and we should see that hopefully sometime in 2024. But for now, that was my year, my 2023 year in a wrap. Did you play any of the games that I mentioned? Any other games that you were really excited about in 2023? Love to hear about them. Let us know in the comments. But otherwise, hope you have a great new year, a great holiday season. Hope to see you at the table next year. And free Palestine.